When you hear the word sound, what comes to your mind? A variety of things such as music, the school bell, traffic noise, yes, your teacher's voice, and so on are some of the things one commonly thinks of. All these things comes under the category of sound. Yes, sound. Sound is our next chapter which we are going to learn today. We use sound in many different ways. Let us look at the picture and analyze some of the common ways in which we use sound. The sound is being used for in each case. First, to communicate with each other. Second, for enjoyment and relaxation. Third, for entertainment and information. And the last one, to be reminded of something. So, sound is an integral part of our life. In this chapter, we will learn a bit about sound, how it is produced, how does the sound travels, and how can we hear it. We will learn about a little bit about unpleasant sound also. Let's begin. The first question arises in our mind is how sound is produced. Which part of our body produces sound? So dear student, sound is produced by vibration and it is a form of energy. So what is sound? The sound is a form of energy and it is produced by vibration, and the energy is mostly kinetic energy. Now the next question arises, what is vibration? So vibration can be defined as a rapid back and forth movement of a body about a central position. It is known as vibration. We can feel this vibration if we put our fingers, or you can say palm, or lightly on our throat. When we are talking or singing, we can feel the vibrations. Or if we are putting our palm on the speakers of the music system, we can feel this vibration. So what is vibration? Vibration can be defined as rapid back and forth movement of body about a central position, and the sound is produced because of vibration. Now let us see how these vibrations are produced in human beings, and in turn it produces the sound. The organs in the human being that is involved in the production of the sound is larynx, or you can say commonly known as voice box. The larynx is located at the top of the windpipe. When we want to speak, the air rushes out of the lungs through the windpipe and to the larynx. And at the top of the larynx, there are two membranes called vocal folds. You can see, students, in the diagram also, vocal folds are there, which begins to vibrate because of the air rushing in below them. This gives out the basic sound like wind passing through a windpipe, which has a membrane with a narrow opening at the other end. There are muscles in the larynx that lengthens or shortens the fold and also alter their tension to produce different pitches. The space between the vocal folds is called glottis. You can see in the first diagram, the first organ, it is with the blue color, it is glottis. So the different sounds can be made by varying the opening and closing of the glottis and also the vibrations of the vocal folds. This is not all. The basic sound comes from the fold, we can use our mouth, tongue, teeth, lips, nasal cavity to pronounce clearly. So this is how the human larynx work to produce sound. We just saw that how sound is produced. Now we will see that how sound travels. We have just discussed that sound is produced by vibration, and now this sound travels from one point to another as a longitudinal waves, that is in the form of series of compression and rarefaction. Let's understand it in a better way. First of all, students, have you ever seen somebody throwing pebbles in a pool of water? Pebbles means क्या? पत्थर. पत्थर को तुम पानी में फेंकोगे तो क्या देखोगे? The pebbles creates a ripple of waves that spreads in the pool. सर्कुलर रिंग की तरह जो है रिपल्स फॉर्म होंगे और वो जहाँ पे पत्थर फेंका हो वहाँ से वो रिंग्स जो है बड़े होते जाएंगे. दिस वाइब्रेशन कॉजेज वेव्स इन द एयर इन द सेम वे. जिस तरह ये वाइब्रेशंस जो है पूल में ट्रैवल करते हैं, उसी तरह साउंड वेव्स जो है वो एयर में ट्रैवल करते हैं और हम जो है साउंड को सुन सकते हैं. इस चीज़ को और अच्छी तरह समझने के लिए हम एक दूसरा एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं ड्रम का. When we strike a drum with the help of a wooden stick, as you can see in the picture, the person is bringing a drum with the help of wooden stick. The membrane on the drum moves backward and forward, that is, it vibrates, and this causes the air molecules surrounding the drum to vibrate. Same way, we can imagine the air molecules to be like a small ball. The sound traveling through air alternatively push these balls together and pulls them away from each other. The area where they lie together, जब एयर मॉलिक्यूल्स जो है एकदम पास में आ जाएंगे उसे हम कंप्रेशन कहेंगे, और जब एक दूसरे को पुश करेंगे और दूर चले जाएंगे तो उसे हम रेरीफ्रैक्शन कहेंगे. और तुम डायग्राम में देख सकते हो कि एयर मॉलिक्यूल्स जो है एकदम पास पास में आए हैं उसे हम कंप्रेशन कहते हैं, और जहाँ पे दूर है उनके बीच में जो है जगह है उस पोर्शन को हम रेरीफ्रैक्शन कहते हैं. ये है हमने कौन सा एग्जाम्पल? ड्रमर का एग्जाम्पल लिया है, और इसमें हम क्या तो कि एयर मॉलिक्यूल्स जो है एक पास में आ रहे हैं और दूर जा रहे हैं, दैट इज पास में आएंगे तो उसे कंप्रेशन कहेंगे, और दूर जा रहे हैं उसे हम रेरीफ्रैक्शन कहेंगे कि साउंड वेव्स ऐसे प्रोड्यूस होते हैं. Sound waves propagate. The molecules themselves do not move from one point to another. They only vibrate about its mean position, and they passes the energy, and sound is produced, which we can hear it with the help of our ears. Sound needs a material medium to travel. Students, sound waves require the medium like solid, liquid or gas to travel through them. They cannot travel through vacuum. Why? Because we have already seen that sound travels by producing a vibration in the molecules of the medium surrounding it. But in vacuum there are no molecules, so there is no medium for the sound to travel. Or you can say there are no molecules in the vacuum so that the sound can travel. And when we talk about the medium, that is solid, liquid and gas, the sound travels with the different speeds in this medium. And the sound travels fastest in the solid and the slowest in the gas. This is because in solid the particles are closely packed, whereas in the gases the particles are loosely packed. So, sound travels fastest in the solids and slowest in the liquid, as the arrangement of the molecules in solid are closed and in liquid the molecules are far apart. Therefore, their speed is also less, and the speed of the sound is about 340 meters per second. So, sound needs a material medium to travel. Now, let us see an activity which proves that sound will not travel in vacuum and it will require the medium to travel through it.
The experimental setup is shown here. An electric bell is suspended inside an airtight glass bell jar. The bell jar is connected to a vacuum pump as shown here. The electric circuit is switched on. The electric current flows through the circuit. We observe that the hammer of the bell is striking the gong and sound is produced. Slowly the air is withdrawn from the jar by starting the vacuum pump. What happens to the intensity of sound? The intensity of sound goes on decreasing, and finally when all the air is pumped out of the jar, no sound is heard. The hammer of the electric bell is still seen striking the gong repeatedly. This clearly proves that a material medium is required for the propagation of sound.
We have just learned how sound vibration from the source propagate through the air and reaches our ears. Let us now discuss how our ear actually hears this sound vibration. For that, we have to study the different parts of the ears. Students, before I start, I have shared on the screen the structure of ear, but you open the book and see page number 178, so you will be getting proper idea, or whatever I am speaking you can see the diagram from the textbook. So, our ear can be broadly classified into three parts: the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The outer ear is the part that is visible to us, and this part is known as pinna, where girls usually wear the earrings is known as pinna, or you can feel that part or see that part outside is known as pinna. Now, what is the function of this outer part? This pinna collects the sound waves and direct them to the ear tube. So this is the function, main function of the outer part. It collects the sound waves and direct them to the ear tube. At the end of the ear tube, there is a ear drum. This drum vibrates when the sound waves strike it and transmit the sound to the middle ear. So, outer ear will collect the sound waves and pass to the middle ear. So, the sound waves will travel to the middle ear. What will the middle ear do? The middle ear has a cavity with three important ear bones. And which are the ear bones? Hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup. I am repeating: hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup. These are the three ear bones which are present in the middle ear, and these bones are placed in such a way that move when the drum vibrates. वो तीनों एक दूसरे से ऐसे कनेक्टेड है कि जैसे ही साउंड वाइब्रेशन आएगी तो वो मूवमेंट करेंगे, एंड दे ट्रांसमिट द वाइब्रेशंस टू द इनर ईयर, और वो वाइब्रेशंस को इनर ईयर में ट्रांसमिट करेंगी. सो दिस इज द फंक्शन ऑफ द मिडल ईयर कि three bones are connected in such a way that when the sound vibration comes, they will transmit to the inner ear. The inner ear. The inner ear is connected to the middle ear through a tiny opening, and the inner ear is filled with a fluid. Fluid का मतलब liquid. When this liquid vibrates, it excites the tiny hair in the inner ear, and what this hair do? The hair transforms the vibration into electrical impulse, and this electrical impulse is transferred to the brain through auditory nerves, and we are able to hear the sound. So what is the function of inner ear? The inner ear transforms the vibration into electrical impulse, which are then transferred to the brain through auditory nerves. तो देखो इनर ईयर क्या करेगा, तो के वाइब्रेशंस को इलेक्ट्रिकल इम्पल्स में कन्वर्ट कर देगा, और ये इलेक्ट्रिकल इम्पल्स जो है ब्रेन में जाएगी, किससे, तो के थ्रू ऑडिटरी नर्व्स, और उसके बाद जो है हम साउंड को सुन सकते हैं. तो इस तरह ईयर्स में तीन पार्ट जो है, दैट इज आउटर, मिडल एंड इनर, की हेल्प से हम साउंड को सुन सकते हैं. और साउंड कब प्रोड्यूस होता है? थ्रू वाइब्रेशंस. So I'll repeat the functions of each part of the ear again. The first part is the outer ear. What is the function? Collects the sound waves. Then comes middle ear. Middle ear is between outer and inner ear, and the function is to transmit the vibration into inner ear. And the last part is inner ear. What is the function? It transforms the vibration into electrical impulse and send it to brain through auditory nerves, and we are able to hear the sound with the help of these three parts: outer, middle and inner ear. We have learned so far that sound travels in the form of wave. But we know that sometimes the sound are produced are so loud, sometimes they are shrill. So how the different sounds are made, or how different types of sound look? There are some characteristic of waves that we should understand so that we can know how these sounds are produced. So the main characteristic of the waves are amplitude, second one time period, third one frequency. These are the characteristic which helps in distinguishing the different types of sound, and we are going to see these three types or three characteristic of the sound waves by taking an example of simple pendulum. A simple pendulum consists of a small metallic ball, and this metallic ball is known as bob. It is attached to a string which is fixed at one point. Students, in the figure you can see a red color ball. This red color metallic ball is known as bob, and it is fixed with the help of string. String means dhaga, and to a stand. And this arrangement of bob string attached to a fixed point is known as simple pendulum. So, what does the simple pendulum consist of? A small ball attached to a string which is fixed at one end. Now we'll be discussing the characteristic of sound using the simple pendulum, and the first one which we are going to discuss is amplitude. What you have to do, you have to just slide away the bob and leave it. The bob will oscillate to and fro for some time and then it will come to rest. This position where the bob is not moving is known as its mean position. You can see in the diagram when it is marked A, that A position is known as mean position, and the maximum displacement the bob is moving from its mean position is known as the amplitude of the oscillation. In the diagram, you can see when it is marked B and C, that is an extreme position to which the bob is moving is known as amplitude. So, maximum displacement occurs when the bob is at position A and C is known as amplitude of the oscillation. So, what is it? The maximum displacement of the bob from its mean position during oscillation is known as amplitude of the oscillation. The next characteristic is time period. What is time period? The time taken to complete one oscillation is known as time period of the oscillation. For example, if the bob is at position A, then it will go to C, then to B and come back to A, then we will say one oscillation is completed. One oscillation क्या है कि अगर बॉब A that is mean position पे है, फिर वो C की तरफ जाएगा, C से वापस B की तरफ और B से A की तरफ आएगा, तो वो एक कंप्लीट ऑसिलेशन जो है कंसिडर होगा. So, the time taken to complete one oscillation is known as time period of the oscillation, and the time period is measured in seconds. तो time period का unit क्या है? Seconds. Next characteristic of the sound is frequency. What do you mean by frequency? The number of oscillations per second is called the frequency of oscillation. The SI unit of frequency per second is called hertz. For example, if the bob of the pendulum moves 5 times through the point B in a second, its frequency is 5 per second, or you can say 5 hertz. So, what is frequency? The number of oscillation per second is called the frequency of the oscillation, and the SI unit of frequency per second is called hertz. Now we'll be discussing about the relationship between amplitude and the loudness. The amplitude of the vibrating body produces the sound determines the loudness of the sound. If the amplitude is higher, the loudness produced will be more, and if the amplitude is low, then the sound produced is less louder, or you can say softer. So, amplitude decides the loudness. If amplitude is more, the sound produced will be louder, and if the amplitude is low, soft sound will be produced. In the graph also, students, you can see the red line is having the soft sound is written, Why? Because the amplitude is low. What is mean by amplitude? The maximum displacement of the waves from its mean position is known as amplitude. And in the graph, you can see the dotted line in the downside is amplitude. So, the red colored wave is having low amplitude. That's why the sound is soft. Whereas the wave with a blue colored is having more amplitude, so louder sound will be produced. So what is the relationship between amplitude and the loudness? If the amplitude is large of the wave, louder the sound, and the lower the amplitude of the wave, the softer the sound it is. Now, the loudness of the sound depends upon the square of the amplitude. अभी क्या देखा कि एम्पलीट्यूड ज़्यादा होगा तो लाउडनेस ज़्यादा होगी. अब इनके बीच का रिलेशन क्या है कि वो लाउडनेस जो है इट इज़ अ स्क्वायर ऑफ द एम्पलीट्यूड. If we double the amplitude of the sound waves, the loudness increases 4 times. कितना? अगर हम एम्पलीट्यूड को डबल करेंगे तो लाउडनेस 4 टाइम्स हो जाएगी. क्यों? क्योंकि लाउडनेस ऑफ द साउंड डिपेंड्स ऑन द स्क्वायर ऑफ द एम्पलीट्यूड. ओके. The loudness of the sound is measured in decibel. So decibel is the unit for the measurement of the loudness of the sound. And the loudness of the sound should be between 50 to 60 decibel for the normal conversation. And if it is more than 80 decibel, it can damage the ear, and severe damage to the ear may result in the partial loss of hearing. So, normal conversation should be not more than 80 decibel. Otherwise, the sound is considered to be loud and it is harmful to us. Now we'll be discussing about the speed of the sound. The sound waves travel at different speed in different substances. Students, we have already discussed that the sound waves travels fastest in the solid and the slowest in the gas. Now, the speed of the sound depends upon various factors. Which are they? First one is temperature, second one is nature, and the third one is physical state of the substances. So, these are the factors on which the speed of the sound depends upon. Which are they? First one is temperature, second one is nature, and the third one is physical state of the substances. In physical state, we can include solid, liquid, and gaseous state. Now, we'll take an example. The speed of the sound in air is about 330 meter per second at 0 degrees Celsius, and the same speed of the air is 346 meter per second at room temperature. So this is an example of the speed of the sound in air at different temperature. So students, again the speed of the sound depends upon various factors such as temperature, nature, and physical state. We hear a variety of sounds around us. They are soft, loud, pleasant, and unpleasant. Some sounds may fall into two categories, such as soft and pleasant. The other one is loud and unpleasant. Let's take an example. The sound produced by violin is soft and pleasant. And on the other hand, the sound produced by burning crackers is loud and unpleasant. So students, this sound can be categorized into two groups. The first one, audible sound, and the second one, inaudible sound. Audible sound. Sounds that human ears can detect and we hear are audible sound. And the second point, the frequency of audible sound lies between 20 Hz and 20 kilohertz, which the human ears can hear. So, this type of sound is known as audible sound. On the other hand, inaudible sound, the sound that human ears cannot detect and cannot be heard, are inaudible sound, and the frequency of inaudible sound is either below 20 Hz or above 20 kilohertz, which the human ears cannot hear. So, this is the difference between audible and inaudible sound. The sound which human ears can detect and hear is audible sound, whereas the sound that human ears cannot detect and cannot be heard is inaudible sound. Students, just we discuss about inaudible sound. In that, human ears cannot detect the sound whose frequency is either below 20 Hz or above 20 kilohertz, and this frequency range are given as a special name of infrasonic sound and ultrasonic sound. So, what are infrasonic sounds? The sounds that are below 20 Hz frequency are called infrasonic sound. Elephant uses infrasonic sound to communicate with herds of hundreds of kilometers away from them. And other one is ultrasonic sound. The sounds that are above 20 kilohertz frequency are known as ultrasonic sound. So, if the frequency is below 20 hertz, then it is infrasonic sound, and if the frequency is above 20 kilohertz, then it is known as ultrasonic sounds. And students, human ears cannot hear the sound whose frequency is between 20 and 20 kilohertz, then it is known as inaudible sound, and they are given name as infrasonic sound and ultrasonic sound. Yes, this unpleasant sound is known as noise. So, what is noise? Unpleasant, discomfort causing sound from any source is known as noise, and sustained presence of harmful, unwanted, and annoying noise in the environment is known as noise pollution. The harmful effect of the noise pollution are irritation and loss of concentration. Due to noise pollution, we can't concentrate in doing our work and sleep properly, and get irritated in small things, and exposure to loud noise may damage our ears, and continuous exposure to the noise over a long period of time may decrease our hearing capacity also. So, the harmful effect of the noise pollution are irritation and loss of concentration, sleep disturbance and stress, ear damage and loss of hearing. Measures to reduce noise pollution. Students, one should adopt to keep the noise pollution under control, and there should be certain degree of discipline from all of us. So, some of the methods which we follow to reduce the noise pollution are: the first one, use of loudspeaker should be avoided. Next, the people living in flat and the houses which are very close to each other, they should not talk too loudly or play the television or music too loudly so as not to disturb our neighbors. कि हम हमारा टीवी का वॉल्यूम या तो रेडियो या तो बात करें तो भी उसका वॉल्यूम जो है वो कम रखे कि आजू बाजू वालों को डिस्टर्बेंस ना हो. While driving also, we should avoid playing loud music and using the horns unnecessarily. Trees and shrubs should be planted along the roads and big buildings. As we know, they absorb the sound and they can reduce the noise pollution. And also the industries that uses heavy machineries and produces lot of noise should be located away from the residential areas. So these are the few things by which we can reduce the noise pollution, and it is rightly said that small things makes a big difference. So what we should do to minimize the noise pollution? Yes, the use of loudspeaker should be avoided. While driving, people should avoid playing loud music and use of horns unnecessarily. Plant trees along the roads and the buildings as they are the good absorbent of sound, and use the heavy machineries and produce lot of noise should be located far from the residential areas. So this is the small things which we can do to make a big difference. Here we end our chapter. See the video, read the chapter twice, then only the concept of the chapter will be clear. Thank you.